When Daniel's car broke down on a narrow road deep between two mountains, he felt strangely relieved to spot a road sign pointing toward a place called Hollowridge. The name wasn't familiar, but he had no choice. As he walked along the empty road, daylight dimming behind the thick cluster of clouds, he felt a cold stillness in the air, so silent it almost felt artificial, like someone had pressed mute on the entire world. When he finally reached the town, the first thing he noticed was that every window was dark, every shop closed, every street empty. It didn't look abandoned, just asleep, like a place paused in time. He knocked on doors, called out for help, but nothing echoed back, not even a dog's bark. So he took shelter inside a small inn whose door was oddly unlocked. As night approached, he sat in the inn lobby, listening to the wind scrape against the shutters. But exactly when the last trace of daylight vanished, a sudden thud came from upstairs. Then another. Then footsteps, many footsteps. He froze, staring at the staircase as lights flickered on one by one, illuminating silhouettes moving behind the frosted glass of the hallway. He stepped back as the innkeeper, a pale, thin woman with expressionless eyes, descended the stairs as if she had just woken from a deep sleep. "Good evening," she said calmly, as though Daniel had always been expected. "Welcome to Hollowridge." As she spoke, Daniel noticed something that made his stomach twist. She had no shadow. None of the people who stepped into the lobby behind her did. They greeted him politely, their voices soft, almost rehearsed, but every time they passed under a lamp or candle, the light simply fell through them. Daniel forced a smile, trying not to panic as she offered him a room. He barely slept. The floors creaked all night as people walked, talked, and whispered outside his door. And every whisper carried the same phrase: "He doesn't belong here." Just before dawn, everything suddenly fell silent again. When Daniel stepped outside, the town was empty once more, as if the night crowd had melted away with the darkness. Confused and afraid, he hurried toward the edge of town, only to find his car now parked neatly near the entrance, fixed as if someone had worked on it overnight. A folded note was tucked under the wiper. "Stay until the third night." Daniel tried to leave instantly, but the engine wouldn't start. The key turned, the lights flashed, but the car refused to move. Every attempt failed until the sun fully set again. And as darkness settled, the streets filled instantly, hundreds of residents wearing outdated clothes, their faces unnervingly calm, their movements too synchronized. They greeted him again, but this time closer, watching him with unblinking eyes. One man stepped forward and whispered, "We only come alive in the dark. And tonight, you will too." Before Daniel could react, the crowd parted, revealing a tall figure with a lantern that cast no light around him. "You wandered into a place that remembers the dead," the figure said. "We are shadows of the past, and every century, we choose one visitor to replace us, so one of us may finally rest." Daniel's heart pounded as they circled him, chanting softly. He tried to run, but the air around him thickened, slowing him like invisible hands gripping at his limbs. He stumbled toward the inn, hoping for shelter, but the walls flickered like illusions, as if the whole town was only partly real. The figure lifted the lantern, and Daniel felt a cold pull in his chest, like his soul was being separated from his skin. In a final desperate attempt, he grabbed the lantern and smashed it on the ground. A burst of darkness, not light, exploded outward, throwing everyone backward. The world spun. Voices screamed. Streets twisted like melted wax. Then everything went black. Daniel woke up at dawn, lying at the edge of the highway. His car was beside him, damaged again, but real this time. He stumbled inside, started the engine, and this time it roared to life. He drove without looking back. But days later, as he checked news reports and maps, he found nothing. No record of Hollowridge. No mark on any map. No sign the town had ever existed. Yet one thing kept him awake at night. Every sunset, his shadow seemed a little lighter, a little thinner, like it was slowly preparing to leave him behind.